In my last video, I mentioned there were two spider horror films released this year quite close together that happen to have almost identical plots, involving a pet's killer spider that grows abnormally in size, escapes into the ventilation system of an apartment complex, and naturally begins murdering the locals. What I thought was interesting about both of them was how they represented the opposite spectrums of the creature feature, the self-aware eccentric B-movie, and the self-serious, if inherently far-fetched horror with a capital H. Last time we talked about the former approach called Sting, which dealt with an intergalactic spider that, while still stressful for arachnophobes like me, was relatively lighthearted and played heavier on the fantastical side of its premise. However, this time we are dealing with the ultimate serious spider nightmare fuel. Yes, it still naturally requires suspension of disbelief, but unlike Sting and more akin to Arachnophobia and Kingdom of the Spiders, this film uses real spiders. Fucking huntsman spiders, to be exact. Granted, enlarged with CGI, but that doesn't make them any less real to me. Originally titled Vermin to echo its themes, Infested tells the story of an inner-city apartment complex in Paris where an exotic animal collector called Caleb seeks to escape the confines of his marginalized, impoverished upbringing by making enough money hustling what I believe are either counterfeit or stolen shoes to further his ambitions of opening a reptile zoo. One day, he purchases a mysterious breed of spider from a local pawn shop owner that all we know was smuggled in from the Middle East and is not only highly aggressive, but gives one very mean fatal bite. Of course, as you might expect, it is along until the scampering little fucker escapes and lays thousands of eggs that soon unleash an army of fast-growing ravenous swifty spiders ready to protect their territory from those who simply don't understand. However, what's key here is that, like Arachnophobia and Kingdom of the Spiders, Infested attempts to respectfully showcase the realistic and believable behavior of a creature that's typically misrepresented in fiction as, well, the villain. Now look, you are never going to be able to rationalize spiders to me. I know that they're more scared of you than you are of them, but for all the conscientious efforts to show us that actually spiders are these delicate, beautiful beings just trying to protect their home and will only attack when provoked, and they will eat all the other horrible bugs in your eyes, there is a contradiction in the fact that this is still a fucking horror movie that frames spiders as legitimately terrifying beings. Before we dive deeper into despair, this video is sponsored by Odoo. Odoo is an all-in-one management software designed for business owners to optimize their workflow, such as accounting, inventory, project management, or my personal favorite, website creation. Your first Odoo application is free for life with unlimited hosting and support, and with website creation, you even get a free personalized domain name for the first year. Odoo Website Builder is an absolute must for anyone looking to create a no-nonsense, efficient, easy-to-use, stylishly professional website with total control, whether you're a beginner or advanced. Using an intuitive drag-and-drop feature, you simply select from a range of blocks that fit your needs, like buttons, text, and visuals, and use the grid to precisely organize them. For example, if I want to make a page dedicated to my found footage reviews, I can effortlessly embed my videos, edit color, text, use Google font integration, and highlight important sections using graphics and animation. I'm not particularly tech-savvy, but dragging in blocks and editing them down to the finest detail has never been so easy and hassle-free. Odoo also includes ChatGPT integration to help you generate, rephrase, and translate text, while Unsplash gives you access to a royalty-free library of visual content to really spice up your website. Simply click my link in the description box below to start your own free website with unlimited support today, and check out everything else Odoo has to offer. Now, with that said, I have to give director and co-writer Sebastian Vanacek credit for the noble ambition behind its premise. Vanacek explained to the Daily Beast that the spiders are never shown to be hostile and only ever respond in defense when they're attacked first, which lends itself to the very subtle monster as a metaphor type story that Vanacek aims to tell. If someone were to ask me why I hate spiders, my response would likely be it's the way that they look, the way that they move, the sheer presence of them in my space. But to quote Vanacek in an interview with Screen Rant, that response is basically xenophobia. You're judging something for how it looks and perceive its existence as a problem to you. As such, Vanacek argued our perception of spiders drew an allegorical parallel with the setting of the film, which is suburban inner-city Paris that has a reputation for social deprivation and criminality, and that's without accounting for racial profiling and discrimination that unfortunately very much exists exist in the same context. Now, bear in mind, I am speaking purely from Vanecek's perspective, given the film was shot close to where he grew up, thus drawing off his own experiences to develop an empathetic portrayal of the setting and its characters. While I've been to France on several occasions, I know very little about it, but I did analyse Mathieu Kassovitz' Laen in college, which dealt with the same concepts, if indeed by comparison is utterly grounded in bleak social realism. For the sake of a spider film, I'm obviously not going to go into the whole peer-reviewed sociology behind it, because the last thing we need when dealing with a very nuanced and deeply complex subject matter is another guy lecturing us about how the world supposedly works. But in the context of the film, our protagonists, which include Caleb, his best friend Matthias, his sister Manon, his former best friend and sister's current boyfriend Jordy, and her sister Lilla, eventually find themselves in quarantine when the spiders infest the building. Late into the story, they end up confronting the police, who refuse to not only explain themselves but outright assault the group when they rebuke and fight back against how they're being treated. If you can read between the lines, you can see what I'm getting at, but the way the film is built up through this point shows how desperate and disenfranchised the locals of this dilapidated apartment complex feel way before shit hits the fan. It's when the issue exacerbates are they provoked by the way they've been treated, kind of like how the smugglers in the opening force the spiders out of their own home via gas, which is then mirrored when the group try to exit the building and are gassed by the police. The apartment complex bluntly symbolizes these people being trapped or imprisoned, cocooned even, in their poverty and deprivation. Caleb and his group all individually aspire to better their lives and are either proactively trying to do so and be self-sufficient, or they become so defeated by the perpetuation of their hardships that they succumb to the vicious social cycle it's long created. In fact, in a Fangoria interview, Vanecek even made a profound point about spiders not being scary to him, but time being something that does, which echoes through via a sense of urgency between Caleb and Manon to get out of this complex before they're stuck in this life forever. It's the ignorant, classist, xenophobic perception that they're all crime-ridden little lives who simply slum around and bring down society that the film challenges by establishing a duality between them and the spiders. They're ultimately just trying to survive with the hand they've been dealt. They are victims of circumstance, and society's solution is to contain the problem and let it be, which leads to a bleak, if unfortunately honest conclusion that I'll talk about at the end. It doesn't try to whitewash the inherent conflicts and complexities of its characters. It's not like they're all perfect, misunderstood, good people with kind, thoughtful hearts. Each of us are a socially conditioned product of our environment. We do what we have to endure. So anyway, with all that said, we can finally get into the spider shenanigans. Basically, a group of